Bloody Vampire is a playfully cute and spooky Metroidvania-esque side-scrolling action platformer that stands out for its art style and flair. The game sees you play as a half-human, half-vampire girl who must investigate the conflict that's emerging between the vamps and the humans. While the story isn't all that immersive, the characters are at least likeable and pretty well written. Gameplay-wise, the game is mostly your standard Metroid Castlevania affair that sees you exploring, platforming, solving puzzles, and upgrading your character so that you can access previously unobtainable areas. Where Bloody Vampire mixes things up though, is in its combat, which sees your character dashing headfirst into enemies, Wario style. It's a clever concept that, thanks to a host of enemies and some great boss battles, requires a healthy amount of strategy and timing to perfect. This, combined with the magic attacks and vampiric animal transformations, make the gameplay feel extremely fresh throughout. The game looks great too, and wears its retro, 16-bit influences proudly on its sleeve. Visually, Runny Egg would have you believe it's just another cutesy standard 2D platformer, but what you actually get gameplay-wise is an immensely challenging and blisteringly fast platformer that will truly test your reflexes and your skill. While the game is just like most platformers and all about running and jumping from one side of the level to the other while collecting and avoiding fools and enemies, the game does innovate with its egg ability mechanics, which are as fun as they are adorable to use. Don't be left with egg on your face, get this one before it's gone. One game I find myself coming back to time and time again is Siesta Fiesta, a wholly original game that takes the brick-breaking shenanigans of Arkanoid and Breakout and infuses them with so much innovation, charm, and character that it just becomes its own unique gem. In Siesta Fiesta, your aim is to break as much as possible while also traversing through the game's moving stages, which, thanks to incredibly well-designed levels that constantly throw new mechanics into the mix, make this task a true treat and immensely replayable, which, considering you're just breaking blocks and racking up combos, is a massive achievement. If the addictive, high-score chasing gameplay wasn't enough to make you bounce your way over to this one, then the game's silly narrative, visuals, and wacky charm may just do, as the game is drop-dead gorgeous, with an art style reminiscent of the recent Rayman titles. The levels are varied and wild in design, and the touchscreen controls are incredibly fluid. I could go on and on and on, but yeah, it's great, so just go get it. I'm a sucker for a good top-down shooter, and when I learnt the lead protagonist's name was Johnny Johnson, well, I just said take my money. And while I was expecting your run-of-the-mill zombie shooter shovelware, I was pleasantly surprised with what I got, as Escape from Zombie City is so much more. The game plays as your typical top-down shooter, but packs in a ton of survival horror elements to not only give the game an eerie atmosphere and tone, but to also add a ton of depth and thought into how you take on each scenario, as ammo and items are not as plentiful as you might expect. The game features a wide variety of special infected, a large arsenal of guns to take them down with, and even has some extremely solid boss battles. The music and huge, screen-filling army of the undead make the game incredibly tense, and are kinda in stark contrast with the game's visuals, yet do give the game a truly creepy atmosphere that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It may not have the wow factor of other gems on the list, but this fun arcade-inspired shooter is far more than meets the eye. From a top-down shooter starring Johnny Johnson to a top-down slasher starring Samurai Kitties. I really do like to mix up these gems for you, don't I? Well, not really. Smash Cat Heroes actually comes from the same team behind Escape from Zombie City. And to put it simply, Smash Cat Heroes is a top-down 2D Dynasty Warriors title featuring cats. So yeah, you move along and slice up large numbers of enemies with combos and special attacks until nothing is left in your way. Then occasionally you will fight a boss and have to grind a bit to progress. It's a little bit brainless and can feel slightly repetitive, but the game's reward system based on time, combo, and KO challenges will keep you slashing away. The game's feline silliness will have you smiling and gives the game its own distinct flavour. And there's a decent amount to unlock too. It's not anything truly special, but is a fun and cheap little distraction, perfect for long travels. From the mind behind Final Fantasy Tactics comes Crimson Shroud, a throwback to the classic turn-based RPGs that made the genre so popular. But what makes Crimson Shroud so unique is its Dungeons and Dragons-esque visuals and gameplay mechanics that have you moving and battling static miniatures by the roll of a dice. So yeah, it's a tabletop game, fully realised as a role-playing video game. And yeah, I mean, you even have a Dungeon Master-like figure moving things along the whole time. This design choice also makes the game endlessly replayable. By now you've probably already decided if this is for you or not, and as the top-notch intrigue and mystery-filled story must not be spoiled, I'll just say that the game looks, plays, and sounds fantastic, and its new, or should I say old twist, on dungeon crawling is a breath of fresh air. What if Cooking Mama was all about getting that cold, hard cash? Well, that's the question Johnny's Payday Panic seems to ask. The game essentially boils down to a bunch of cooking mini-games where you try to keep the customers happy so you can earn more money from tips and getting pay rises. Juggling the various jobs is a game within itself and can actually get ridiculously frantic at times. The mini-games themselves are a joy to play thanks to the game's intuitive touchscreen controls, and visually the game pops too. And this is largely down due to the mix of 2D anime story with 3D cook and minigame sections, and this cartoony aesthetic lends itself well to the game's very self-aware, tongue-in-cheek humour nicely. The game is by no means a must-have, but it is perfect for short bursts of chaotic fun. When the cartoonist that draws the show they star in disappears, Brutus and Footy must entertain their fans themselves, and it is up to you to help them. You do this by manipulating scenes for them to play out in the most amusing way possible, but be careful, as one wrong move will see your character meet their demise, which in the game are classed as outtakes. It's a strange concept, but this point and click puzzle based adventure really does shine thanks to its challenging, yet highly rewarding and amusing take on the puzzle genre as a whole. The game is not super long, but thanks to its brilliant kids cartoon visuals and overall vibe, it's one of the more unique puzzlers on the system. If you like to test your brain power, then for the small price, I highly recommend this one. An unknown gem developed and published by old Nintendo themselves is Tank Troopers, a game jam-packed with all the vibrant, all-out war you could ask for. Yeah, it's a tank game, so no surprise, you'll be destroying all in your way. just in a Nintendo family friendly way of course. The game's vibrant and slick art style and colourful take on war is kinda reminiscent of Nintendo's Advanced Wars series, which I really did appreciate. Tank Troopers is just a blast to play, whether in single player or with friends. If you're playing solo, you will take on 30 varied missions with a ton of unique troopers and tanks to collect that come with their own special abilities. The game's characters are well designed and likeable in your typical Nintendo fashion, and you'll soon find yourself on a mission to unlock everything the game has. But Tank Troopers shines the brightest in its local multiplayer, which also has download play for up to 6 players. And the insanity this packs is up there with Mario Kart. And just like Mario's karting series, this game is easy to pick up and play whether you're young, old, inexperienced, or a veteran gamer, so there's no excuse not to get some people together and go to all-out war.
Step up and join the fight. We're ready. Are you?
As the dreaded eShop close date is ever looming, I'll keep plugging away to find you the best gems possible. But in the meantime, drop this video a like and maybe a comment, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Until next time, you guys stay tipsy.